Alrighty, folks, you have heard me say this time and time again in this real estate market. There is only one set of people that are winning, and it's my people. But you know what? That is my very, very biased opinion. So I thought I would do is reach out to Jonathan from Convoy Home Loans, who has an audience that's even bigger than mine, and figure out what his best investors are doing. So, Jonathan, I want to know, are people sitting on their hands? Are they waiting for weights to drop? Are they, sitting on a beach because it's just too hard? What are your best investors doing today?
Everyone sold everything.
Yeah, they're done. They're out. They're Graham Stephan. They're selling everything.
It's
They're
gone.
done.
No, the absolute best people, and it's crazy because while this whole panic has been happening with the war and rates and whatnot, I have seen more clients enter into purchase transactions than in even the beginning of the year. So more clients now, and they're not specifically purchase transactions for long-term holds.
Yeah.
They are no longer, I'm seeing less transactions for give me a 3-month loan to do fix and flip and then I'm going to try to sell it. If they are going into that type of product, they are buying the property as a distressed property, planning to refinance it immediately into holding it for long term, right? Because they are getting, I think, and you've probably heard your community tell you, we've talked to a lot of Aura family as well, they are getting insane deals right now. 6%
Yes.
seller credits, 4% seller credits. Like it has never been so normal. And I am seeing that more across the board than I've ever seen before. Ever.
Yeah. This is, so I did not know where this conversation was going. We don't plan these videos or anything. So it's really interesting to me. So I actually did an interview with Ryan Pineda and Brian Davila last Friday. I don't know when it's coming out, supposedly this week, but we'll see. And I actually changed my opinion during that conversation because both Ryan and Brian are wholesalers. And I led off that conversation saying, you guys are going to kill it. You're going to crush it because there's going to be so many more distressed sellers, motivated sellers. And what they let me know, and I didn't appreciate until that conversation, was not really. Yes, they might be able to get more contracts. Yes, they might be able to get slightly better deals, but their business relies on an exit today, and that's failing. So disposition is much, much harder because because flippers are pulling back, mom and dad's pulling back, investors are pulling back. So wholesalers are in a really tough spot. I knew flippers were in a tough spot. I've seen flippers lose millions of dollars not appreciating the market. So we're basically down, Jonathan, to only buy and hold investors winning. We can get better deals, we can get better financing, we can get better seller credits, and we price the deal for a lifetime hold. So we don't really care what the cost of capital is. It's going to work today or it's not. So it's really funny for me to change my opinion. Only buy and hold investors win in this market.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the biggest part of the buy and hold mindset, right, is you're not looking for, obviously, you have to buy it right? Because you only get to buy it once, right? So
Correct.
still do the work. Don't pay market price or above market price for
No.
what you're buying, right? Always make sure that you are pricing in a little bit of a margin, pricing in the work you have to do. Like all that stuff has to still come into play. However, the mindset shift has changed from I want to by 5-year point, I want to make at least an appreciation of 15% on the property, right? It's changed from that to, you know what, I'm thinking more 10 years, or I don't want to sell this property because I know I'm not going to be able to buy it for the same $100,000 property, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's coming in. I have an example. I talked to one of the Aura family yesterday on the phone, and his name's Justin. Hi, Justin. So he essentially was like, "Look, I'm selling out of some properties, 1031 out to give them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna buy a bunch of Ohio homes or like wherever, like $100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it's actually worth, if you put like a little work into it, it's actually worth 250,
Oof. Nice.
225, 230. And that margin is immense. But his plan is not, I'm gonna buy it and then I'm just gonna like try to sell it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna 1031 into it, obviously. So
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna own it cash, put a little work into it, and then refinance to pull out the money based on the ARV to
Genius.
go buy it again, right?
Yeah, talk about an infinite money glitch. That's
yeah,
amazing.
and that is, I think, the mindset shift that so many people have changed from like I
Yeah.
got to make a percentage of profit to this is the time where I'm going to buy to have generational wealth,
Yeah.
because there's not going to be a lot of moments like this in the future, I think, in my opinion.
No, this is the best buyer's market I've seen in 12 years. And again, I say that knowing that for 95% of the market, it sucks. Do you want to be a home seller today? Absolutely not. Do you want to be a flipper today? Absolutely not. Do you want to be a wholesaler today? Absolutely not. Well, I guess I'm going to be a buy and hold investor. I'm going to write lots of offers. I'm going to be disrespectful, seller credits, repairs during escrow. I'm going to ask for the moon because most of my people just need to do 1 or 2 deals a year. And that's generational, right? People should be thinking about doing deals of a decade or even better, deals of a lifetime. Go hard, write lots of offers. People are pulling back. Shoot, rates shot higher again today.
Yeah.
And again, in my world, that's good news because demand collapses and, more motivated sellers. So I smile every time demand collapses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually these days get a lot of new families starting, parents, right? Because they have to decide now, because of the Trump account that they get to put money into,
Yeah.
right? They have to decide, am I going to continue to invest in, let's say, a stock portfolio and put money in there, right? They can do that, but or like, what other avenue can I do to set my children up for the future? And I tell them, look, before I even had kids, or I don't have kids right now, but even before, I bought a bunch of like smaller Midwest properties in Ohio, Texas, Georgia, right? And I bought those properties so that later on, like, I'm not worried about having to pay for the kids in the future. Those properties are set up there so that they can cash flow. And then later on, if you need the cash or you need to sell it or refi, whatever you need to do, you can do that to fund your kids' future. But there's going to be nothing else in the market. Stocks obviously go up and down like crazy, but real estate's going to be like buy and hold, is going to be the best way to pay down your debt, increase your cash flow, make a little bit of income, write stuff off. And then when you need it, it's there. It's
Yeah,
never going away.
it's funny. I've had conversation with new parents a lot. And, one thing I've always recommended, if you can swing it, is buy a rental property for every newborn child you have. And this was before the Trump accounts, right? I think Trump accounts are great. If you have a newborn in the next 4 years, you'd be a fool not to use it. That said, I've always said, and this goes back decades, buy a rental for your kid because 18 years from now, you're going to have these amazing options. Your kid wants to go to college, boom, paid for. Your kid wants to start a business, boom, paid for. You want to give them a tremendous leg up in life, gift it to them at 18. It's just something a parent could do now because it's coming. Let me just tell you this: time goes by for all of us. Your kid will be 18 eventually, and to give them an asset at 18 is a tremendous gift.
Yeah, absolutely. And think, like, again, if you're talking 18 years, now you're thinking 18-year time frame, 20-year time frame, right?
Yes.
So what you buy in zip codes, you buy in certain markets, right? It doesn't have to be the most expensive market right now. But
Yeah.
what is in the works, right? And if you're doing the work, right? What is in the works right now that you can probably Google and see? Is Amazon warehouse opening up there? What's going up there? Like, in the next 10, 15 years, like, you have to kind of think of what is happening in these certain areas that's not just Los Angeles, Orange County,
Yeah.
San Diego, Las Vegas. Like, what's happening in those markets that are going to allow for your housing prices to eventually in 15 years be worth more, 20 years be worth more, right?
It's funny. I'm reminded of a video I saw between Alex Hormozy and I forget the other finance guy, Dave Ramsey. It was Alex and Dave Ramsey. And Alex goes, I want to tell you about a story about how to get rich. And he goes, it's going to be very boring because we don't need an hour. He basically says, I go to any city, I find the main street, right? And then I get out a ruler and I draw a circle 30 minutes from Main Street and I buy all the land. And then I wait 20 years. It's really boring, but that works.
It's genius though.
It's genius. So simple. So
yeah.
simple.
Yeah. And I think that's the power of buying and holding. But
Yeah.
if everyone's mindset is shifting that way, and you're getting the best deals right now, that you probably won't be able to buy that same piece of property 15 years later, even if the rates are
No.
zero. So
No
for the
chance.
price of whatever you paid for it. So
Mhm.
this is the time to do that right now. And as we are speaking, like, the market is doing crazy things,
Yeah.
right? It's going
Yeah.
up. Bonds are going up. Like, people are paying
This,
attention to the little bit of noise that's happening in that side. So while everyone's looking that way, look
yeah.
the other way and write good deals.
At the end of the day, folks, please hear me. What does Uber want? I want more opportunity. So more inventory. Check. I really, really want less competition. Check. And finally, I want greater motivated sellers. Check. At the end of the day, if you're in my community, you're only writing offers that make sense today. We only use 30-year fixed rate debt, cash flows day one. And heck, if you want to add a unit for a newborn child coming, go for it. This is all ways to build wealth. But before we close this out, Jonathan, I think you'd be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the new loan programs coming out. We could talk about the difference between non-QM and conventional, because I think the spread's collapsing even more. What you got for new products and all the other stuff?
Yeah, so HELOCs, you obviously very, very big right now. There's a new product out right now that we can do a bank statement, profit and loss HELOC. So what that means is, if you're self-employed, just going off the deposits in your account,
Oh, wow.
qualifying for debt to income ratio that way versus tax returns. So it's a little different than, like, any other, like, figure or even HALOC or anything like that, because it goes off your actual bank deposit. So your actual loan amount might be able to be higher, that you can
Mm,
qualify for if you're self-employed. It's a good unlock, because before that was just strict 30-year fixed closed end second. Now it allows you to kind of have a little bit of an open revolving account that you can pull from. So that's cool. But the bigger news is right now, right, especially with the market doing everything that it's doing, like
mm.
you alluded to, the spread between conventional and non-conventional, I saw as little as 1/4%.
Wow.
So 1/4%. And we're talking investment conventional versus non-QM DSCR. DSCR, yeah, 1/4%, like 6.5 to 6.75, or six
That's
three seven
crazy.
five to 6.6. Like, it's very, very small right now. So this goes back to the whole conversation we had about, long-term hold, buying and holding, and, like, thinking ahead. This is your time where, if you want to build a portfolio, don't let the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac guideline of, like, 10 properties hold you
Yeah,
behind, just because you feel like, I'm not going to get as good of a deal going DSCR or non-conventional right now, whether it's with us or anyone else. Like, you don't have to worry about that in this pocket of time
I
right
like it.
now. And we keep talking about this pocket of time because we don't know how long it'll last
Yeah,
before
it
the
could
next
change.
hike
Yeah,
happens. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Again, folks, at the end of the day, Convoy's been a part of the channel for a long time. I've used them multiple times, and I love their service. The link there on the screen is where you go, convoyhomeloans.com/ORAT. Yes, folks, ORAT made it to their website. That's how important we are to Convoy. Jonathan, thank you so much. Have fun. Have a great week.
thank you, you too.